Alright, for today's video, I'll be doing a Tower Heroes tier list because of the new update and all the new balance changes and buffs. Starting up first is Balloon Pal. I'll put Balloon Pal up in S tier since she's very useful in most challenges since he's obviously used a lot, and around other heroes who has short range, he's very useful within helping them, but he also shortens their rate, which is kind of bad. Bebo, since he got a recent buff, his rate is pretty good, and he does a decent amount of damage, and if he's next to Spectre, he does even more, obviously, so I'll put him in A. I would put Branch up in A, but I'm going to leave him in B for now because since his cooldown got nerfed. I'm not sure if it got changed because I didn't check really lately since I haven't played the game for like a long time until now. But yeah, his cooldown got nerfed, but his splash damage is still good either way. So I would probably put him in A, but for now I'm gonna keep him B since this video is obviously pre-recorded. Bunny, since she recently got buffed with 61 damage and a better rate, she's at least in B tier, right behind Branch. Bite. Since he's kind of replaced by El Gaglino now, he's still good though, so I'll put him in between like B, but I feel like I should put him in A maybe because he's still good and he still gets a good amount of stun and slow. Since Chef is obviously a beginner tower, he's not 100% the best. He does have a good amount of damage, especially when he's respected with 480, but his rate is not that well. This kind of dog, she's very useful for being able to like upgrade your towers more quicker, because without her you probably will take a very long time within upgrading it, but though she really decreases your damage, so she's good for early game and mid game, but not for late game because you're gonna have to have all that damage that you want. Dumpster Child, as much as I love Dumpster Child, he's not the best since his radiation does last for 20 seconds, but it only goes for 15, but it only does 15 damage per. So yeah, but he's still good for a beginner character. Fracture has a good rate and also does a good amount of damage with a rate of probably somewhere around 1.5 seconds, and does 60 damage every single crystal he does. Hot Dog Frank, A tier. He doesn't have, I'm pretty sure he has a decent rate, and also he's really good since he has area attack, which can be really useful for hitting a bunch of tanky enemies and getting them low. El Gablino not being one of the best stunners, probably being able to stun an enemy for 5.8 seconds more than Bite, and having a special ability to be able to stun a boss or an enemy for 7 seconds or more, I'm pretty sure. So he's very useful for end game and mid game. If I'm sure enough, I'm pretty sure Haze got a buff being able to spawn in 2 Hazes now, but I feel like he's at least somewhere between like A, B, and C since he's really good when he's around Buzzer and Spectra, of course. Soda Pop in B tier. She's really good for taking down multiple enemies at once, and if you put down a Balloon Pal, she'll be able to obliterate tanky enemies too. But she's very underrated and not used a lot because there's characters like Vault or Buzzer now, or literally any splash damage character can do better than her. When I first got Jester, I thought he was the best summoner, but now that it's been at least a year now, I understand that he's not really the best because he can spawn in enemies and mess up other supports too, which is not really that useful. Cart Kid, Cart Kid can spawn in his own. Oh my gosh. If I'm being generous, Keith, he does a good amount of damage since he has return damage and recently got a buff which didn't really do that much, so I'll put him in C tier. Lemonade Cat is a good support tower, but at the same time I hate players who always will max out the Lemonade Cats without placing down a singular tower for the entire game. That type of stuff always feds me up. I'm pretty sure I don't know if I should call it a support or not, but I call it a support because it helps you out when it comes to upgrading your characters. Towers. I feel like Laura is really good at working like Scientist and Vault in a way, being able to target multiple enemies and be able to drain their HP really quickly, just like Scientist. So she's like the same level as Scientist, so I might move her up in A tier, a little bit closer to S tier. Matake. I feel like Matake is a very good character when it comes to mid game and early and mid game, because she's able to control areas really well and also heal summoners, which makes her extremely useful when you have summoners on your team, but really bad when she's around Buzzer since the entire purpose of Buzzer's thing is to blow up. In my opinion, I feel like Alport's probably the third best summoner in the game because he's able to attack and do damage to enemies if they walk into him or get close into their range. Sparks, since she has the same rate as Scientist and also can shoot rockets, this puts her up in A tier. F tier with Quinn, since she's only good with early game, if we're being honest. She's not really that useful when she's in mid game or end game. I would put Scientist in S tier, like how I should have been with Laura. For now, I'll put her in A tier. But if we're all thinking the same here, I feel that Laura and Scientist should probably be in S tier, but I'm going to put them in A tier because it's too late to change it now. Slime King's also a very useful tower summoner, but at the same time, I don't really think that he's really used that much because there's other summoners better than him. Except for the fact that the Slime King has probably one of the best special summoner abilities. Spectre obviously being inside of S tier because without Spectre, I probably would not be able to beat literally any challenge level at all. Of course, my King Buzzer being at the top of S tier because since it's just been reworked now, she's way better than probably any tower. Especially with the fact that her special ability, if you have summoners on the team, if you have anyone use summoners on the team, you'll be able to blow it up whenever it runs into anything, doing extra damage. Stella, her art costs less mana now and probably does more damage. And if I'm being honest, Stella was already pretty good, so this probably made her even more better. Stella and C tier, even though she has a good amount of damage, a crazy amount of range, and also a good amount and a very good splash damage, she's not really that good when it comes to fighting bosses. When it comes to tougher enemies, her rate kind of sells her a lot. Vault, I'll put him in A tier-ish. I mean, I'll put him in probably B tier. He's really good when being in a large group, and he does a decent amount of damage. But the thing is, what's kind of funny to me is that he got buffed by only 0.34 seconds. That is actually crazy. At that point, we'll even buff him at that rate. I'm not sure when this buff happened, but I'm pretty sure it's probably like at least a year ago or now, so I'm just guessing it was today. I'm probably going to skip every character until I get to Nuki, since I had nothing to say about them. For the fact that she's a summoner, if I'm being honest with you, she's at least like on the tip between B and C, because even though she can summon her own Nukis, what can do a good amount of damage and do 170 damage on landing and 6 splash damage, her rate is horrendous for the fact that her Nukis barely live for that long. And that's it for this tier. If you're wondering what my top 3 summoners were, the first place is Buzzer, second place is Stella, and third place is Alport. I'm pretty sure you can already tell why. I'm not trying to take up my time explaining it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you have your opinions on my tier list, you can put it in the comments. And please don't forget to subscribe, and see you guys later.